Hi everyone, we're here today for BJU Press Pre-Algebra Section 5.1 homework. It's titled Sums and Differences, and we're working with rational numbers. So the instructions for number 1, we're going to do 1 through 37 odd. Number 1 is 1/5 plus 2/5. They're starting us off nice and simple. Common denominators are already there, which means we just add the numerators. That gets us 3/5. Number 3, 5/10 minus 3/10. Again, already have common denominator with the tenths, so we're just going to do the numerators. 5 minus 3 is 2/10, and then just double check that it's reduced. So we'll divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2, leaving us with 1/5. Number 5, 3/8 plus 1/6. Okay, so we're going to need to have some common denominators here. Between the 8 and the 6, the common denominator is going to be 24. All right, so that means 24 plus 24. So we need to multiply this one by 3, top and bottom. And we need to multiply the second fraction by 4, top and bottom. So now we have common denominator of 24. So we'll add the numerators. 9 plus 4 is 13/24. Number 7. We have 3/4 minus 1/6. Common denominator is going to be 12. So we'll multiply this fraction by 3, top and bottom. Multiply the second one by 2, top and bottom. That means my common denominator now is 12. So I'm just going to do the numerators. 9 minus 2 is 7. Number 9, 5 1/2 plus 2 1/4. All right, common denominator will be 2. So we're going to keep the, 4. So we're going to keep the 5, keep all of this. And really we just need to change 1/2 by multiplying the top and the bottom by 2. So that gets me 5 2/4 plus 2 1/4. If I add the whole number parts, well, I was subtracting them. That gets me 7. Common denominator is 4, so now I can just add the numerators. 2 plus 1 is 3. So 7 3/4. Number 11. Okay, because this is subtraction, I'm going to set it up with the first number on the top and the second number on the bottom. And then I'm going to work on getting common denominators. So it's going to be 6. So that means this one's going to stay the same. It already has a denominator of 6. In order to get 1/2 to 6, I'll multiply both the top and the bottom by 3. And now I'm going to subtract. So 5 minus 3 is 2/6. 7 minus 2 is 5. And reduce it. 5 1/3. Number 13. So we have the number 3.04, and I'm going to add 2.881. Make sure you line up your decimal points. That's the most important part here. And then if you need to add any zeros, we'll put them in. And we're just going to add. So 1, 8 4 is 12. 8 1 is 9. My decimal point, 3 2 is 5. Number 15. So 8.19 minus 0, just make sure you line up your decimals, because again, we have a different amount of decimal places in each number. So we're going to make sure we line up our decimals and add our zeros where needed. And then we'll just do some borrowing and subtract. Okay, number 17. How is adding fractions different from adding integers? So basically, all you need to do is make sure that they have common denominators, because in integers we don't. They're positive and negative whole numbers, so there's no fractions involved. You just need to make sure that you have a common denominator. That would be your difference. Have a common denominator. Okay. Number 19. -6/5 plus 2/5. So you already have your common denominator of 5. That's going to stay. And in the numerators, we have a -6 plus 2. Signs are different, so we find the difference. 6 minus 2 is 4. And then keep the sign of the bigger integer. Number 21. We have 2/5 minus -5/12. Let's work on getting a common denominator first. This is all the stuff that's not going to change. I always do all of that. I always get that out of the way so I don't lose anything. My denominator is going to be, between 5 and 12 is going to be 60. Okay, so in order to get from 5 to 60, I had to multiply by 12, which means the numerator has to be multiplied by 12. So that's 24. And then over here, we're going to be multiplying by 5. And so that's 25. Okay, so anytime we have minus, we can change it to add the opposite, which creates a straight addition problem in our numerators. Denominators are common, so they stay the same. And our numerator is 49. As long as you don't need to reduce, we're good. So not reducible, so we're good on that one. 23, so we've got -4.22 plus 80.2. All right, so we have a positive and a negative. Negative and a positive signs are different, so we're going to find the difference of these two numbers. Lining up our decimals, putting in zeros whenever we need to, borrowing if need be. And then we just need to go back and make sure our sign was from the larger number. So the larger integer was 80.2. So that means I'm going to stay positive. All right, number 25. So we have 2.35 minus -5.81. We see a minus, so that means we can add the opposite, which means it turns into adding two decimals. So 2.35 plus 5.81. We should get 8.16. Number 27, 3/5 plus 1/2 plus 3/4. Common denominator here is going to be 20. Okay, first fraction. To get a denominator of 20, I multiply by 4. So that's going to be 12. Middle fraction, you need to multiply by 10. So that's going to be 10/20. Last fraction, I need to multiply by 5. Gives me 15/20. All right, so that means I've got a 12 plus a 10 plus a 15. That's 37/20. Number 29. We have 7/8 minus 2/5 minus 1/4. Common denominator between 8, 5, and 4 is 40. All right, this one needs to multiply by 5. This one needs multiplied by 8. Last one needs multiplied by 10. That means I've got 35 minus 16 minus 10. It'll leave me with 9/40. Number 31. -5 3/4 plus 12 1/3 minus 4 1/2. All right, common denominator will be 12. So -5, and then the 12 and then the 4. Okay. So this one was multiplied by 3, gets me 9 here, by 4, gets me 4, and by 6, gets me 6. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add the terms that have the same sign and keep the sign. So I'm going to add these first, and then I'm going to keep it negative, because remember this is really plus and negative 4, so that means I have the same signs, so I'll find the sum. So let me just give it a little numbering here. So first I'm going to do -5 and 9/12 and -4 and 6/12, and I'm adding these up. So that's going to be 15/12, -9 and 15/12. And remember, this is actually the same as -9 and 1 and 3/12, because this 15/12 over here is the same thing there. And I'm doing that because I don't want to have an improper fraction as a part of a mixed number. So that means this is actually -10, and I'm going to reduce it away right away, 1/4. From this point, oh wait, I don't want to reduce it because I need to still go back to adding that 12 to my problem. So yeah, remember this is only the first step, so I'm not going to reduce it yet. Okay. Also, this was grouped together with that negative as the total of those two things. Okay, so here's what we have. This is actually this answer to up here when we added these two together. So that means I now have -10 and 3/12 plus 12 and 4/12, which means these are different signs now. So we're going to find the difference. So we're going to do 12 and 4/12 minus 10 and 3/12, which is going to be a 1/12, a 2 and 1/12. Number 33. If the temperature is 1/2 degrees Fahrenheit and drops 4/5 degrees Fahrenheit, what is the new temperature? So it's 1/2 minus 4/5. Okay, common denominator would be 10. So 5/10 and 8/10. So now that we have our common denominator, we're going to do the numerators. 5 minus 8 is like plus the opposite here. So 8 minus 5 is 3, and keep the sign of the bigger one. So it'd actually be -3/10 degrees Fahrenheit. Number 35. The opposite of 13 and 3/10 plus 6 and 3/4 plus 28. Okay, let's do the inside of the parentheses first. Common denominator here is going to be 20. So again, I always like to set myself up with where I'm headed. Don't forget anything. And then we're going to do times 2, which means this is going to be 6. This would have had to be times 5, which means this is 15 here. So we have negative, and then inside here, we're going to end up with 13 plus 6, that's 19. Common denominator of 20, which means add your numerators, that's going to be 21. Okay, so this is actually improper here as part of this whole number, as part of this mixed number. So let's go ahead and rewrite this as 20 and 1/20 plus 28. All right. Where should we go from here? Let's do 28 minus 20 and 1/20. I'm doing this because I have different signs, so I need to find the difference. It's just that I don't have a fraction to take the 1/20 away from. So I'm going to rewrite this, and I'm going to borrow from my whole number, and I'm going to make 20/20 over here. So 27 and 20/20 is the same as 28. So I just borrowed so that I now have a fraction. So I can do 20 minus 1 is 19/20. And 27 minus 20 is 7. So 7 and 19/20. If you did it a different way and you left it as an improper fraction, it's the same as 159 over 20. Number 37. On the last 2 days of the month, the rainfall was 1 7/8 inch and 1/4 inch. How much rain fell in the rest of the month if its total rainfall was 8 1/2 inches? Okay, so we have 1 7/8 plus 1/4. Okay, so this is how much rainfall there was on the last 2 days of the month. I'm going to do this part first. Common denominator is going to be 8, which is going to change this. Sorry, not 4 8s, 2 8s. So it's going to get me 1 9/8, which is the same as 2 1/8. Okay, so the last 2 days of the month, I had 2 1/8 inches of rainfall. Now they're telling me that the entire amount of rainfall for the whole month was 8 1/2 inches. So if I want to find out the difference between them to figure out how much what there was for the first part of the month, I'm going to need to subtract. I should have written it this way. I like to see the fractions on top of each other whenever I'm subtracting, so let's do that. And then we'll rewrite. So this is going to be 8 4/8 minus 2 1/8 is going to be 6 3/8 inches. All right, next is numbers 40 to 49. Number 40, estimate each sum or difference by rounding each mixed number to the nearest integer. So we have 8 15/22 plus 6 5/11. So this is about 9 plus 6. And that means we're about 15 is our answer. Number 41. 6 2/3 minus 8 1/4. So 6 2/3, that's going to go up to about 7 minus 8. So we would have -1. 42. Rename 3 1/4 as an improper fraction. So 3 1/4, we're just going to multiply 3 times 4, 12, add 1, 13/4. Number 43, convert 3/11 to a decimal. So this is the same as 3 divided by 11. So it does not go in here. This is going to be 2, 22, subtract, we get 80. Let's do 7, 77, subtract, we're going to get 30. Right back where we started. I already can tell because this is going to be 11th. So number 43, our answer is -0.27 repeated. Solve each proportion. 14 over y equals 35 over 10. So cross multiply, we end up with 35y equals 140. Divide both sides by 35. Y equals 4. Number 45. 5 is to 12 as x is to 48. Cross multiply. 12x equals 5 times 48. We're going to divide both sides by 12. So x is going to be 20. Number 46. Peter can spend no more than $175 for soccer equipment. If he buys new cleats for $129 and a new pair of shin guards for $30.50, how many pairs of socks costing $2.42 per pair can he buy? Okay, so he can't spend more than $175. So he has to be less than $175. He's buying cleats, they're $129, and he's buying shin guards, they're $30.50. And he wants to know, how many socks can I buy if it's $242 per S? Okay, so this is a little sloppy here. I'm just going to rewrite. So it's $129, $30.50 plus $2.42 per sock. That has to be less than $175. Okay, so we're saying that S equals the socks. I should have defined my variable. Okay, S equals your socks. So number 46, let me see here. We're going to end up combining some like terms. That's going to give me 159.50 plus the 242S is less than 175. Subtract 159.50 on both sides. That's going to give me 242S is less than 1550. Divide by the $2.42. So we're going to have S is less than $6.40. So we can actually spend that 175. So I should have had this be an equal to sign. So here we go, $6.40. Oh, wait, no, wait. I don't think I answered that right. Let me go back and ask. How many pairs of socks was the question? Okay, so we're not doing dollars here. Let me just get rid of all that part. So 6.4 socks, that doesn't make any sense. So it's going to be 6 pairs of socks. Okay, last one, I believe. Two more. 46, 47. Cassie makes $13 per hour babysitting and $7 per hour doing household chores. If she babysits for $15 an hour, how many hours of household chores will she need to make a total of $272? Okay, so how many hours of chores? So C is going to be hours of chores. Okay. $7 an hour doing chores, so 7C, plus $13 an hour for babysitting, and she's babysitting for 15 hours, so 13 times 15. Okay, she wants to make a total of $272. So here we go. Let's do 13 times 7 to clean this up a little bit. Then we're going to subtract 195 on both sides. We end up with 7C equals 77. And C equals 11. So 11 hours doing chores. Number 48. Which number is a factor of 2,730? List all the correct answers. Okay, so this is an even number, which means 2 is a factor. Add the digits up. So B is 3. So to check for B, we're going to add the digits up. That's going to get me 12. That means B, C is a factor. And then we're checking for 4. That would be if 30 divides by 4, then the entire number would be divided by 4. It doesn't. Letter D is 7. Does 7 go into that? I'm just going to do some long division over here real quick to check that out. So 7 goes in here. That's going to be 3, 21, 63. This is going to be 9. So it's coming out here. Yep. So D is also an answer. Number 49. Which set contains 18 thirds? List all of the correct answers. 18 thirds. Okay, so this is written as a fraction, but guess what? This is actually the number 6. Okay, so that means we are talking about natural numbers. We're talking about whole numbers. We're talking about integers. And it is not an irrational number. So there we go. Okay, we are finished with that homework lesson. Thanks, guys.